It's nice to see that our society has become such a modern one compared to what it used to be in the past. Now let's take a look at some most important changes. You can see in the past, humans consumed raw foods and drinks. Ever since the first industrial revolution happened, humanity had witnessed substantial rise in the global net worth, and also some drastic changes in social norms and standards. Actually, gender equality is also priceless achievement that we proudly grasp with both hands. Join us to discover the life of a female airline pilot and a male kindergarten teacher, whose jobs are traditional thought to be more suitable to all the sex.
Hello everyone, my name is Jane Lindsay and I am a female pilot. This sounds weird to some people, but I am very confident and proud of my job.
Thank you, Miss. And what exactly are some qualities you need to attain for this position?
Becoming a pilot requires a great many things, especially with a female one. I have to pass a hard physical test, have medical check every month, and there's a lot of signals and buttons to remember on the plane.
It sure does.
And all the rules and instructions I have to memorize, as well as the emergency situation. But most of all, you need to have a gut for driving on the sky.
Yes, even as a man, I never imagined myself being on the cockpit of the plane.
Ever since I was a kid, my mom always scolded me for dreaming of becoming a pilot. Well, she said women's role was just childbearing, child rearing, and doing the housework. I can't blame her though, because it's kind of a social bias toward men that we can hardly change.
And many people still believe today's society is man-dominated, but in fact, we are all equal.
Not necessarily, because they still impose backwards ideas on women. But I agree we now have dismissed quite a lot of gendered misconceptions.
Now let's get in touch with Mr. Kennedy Johnson, a house husband and also a kindergarten teacher.
Hello, my name is Kennedy Johnson.
Okay. Thanks a lot for your being here with us today. So, Johns, nice to meet you here today.
Yes, I'm really glad to represent the male to discuss gender equality.
So, tell me, John, are there any problems happening with you as a male kindergarten teacher?
So many parents, especially those who have a baby girl, just don't trust me. They say men cannot babysit the children or take good care of them. That's a really disheartening statement because I clearly have the experience and even the qualifications.
Oh, just this discrimination are just ridiculous, right?
In my opinion, women should be viewed as compatible with high positions and equal value as men do. And men can also be allowed to smile, cry, do everything we want without being labeled as girlish or unmasculine.
Can you suggest a new way to achieve that?
Well, I believe these problems can be tackled, but only when the whole society joins hands. The family is the smallest unit of the youth society, so we need to create an equal environment for both boy and girl to grow up with the same love and same care. Homework should also be distributed equally among spouses and their children.
Thank you for all your sharing, Mr. Johnson. Wish you more luck on the way to become a great teacher for the kids.
Thank you.
Social norms and standard, drastic change, priceless achievements, attain qualities, physical test, memorize, have a gut for, cockpit, childbearing and child rearing, social bias, men dominated, women dominated, impose backwards ideas, dismiss gender misconceptions, house husband, disheartened, discriminations, be compatible with, equal value, and masculine, stereotype, male or female counterpart, glass ceiling, patriarchal, career oriented, pursue higher education, domestic violence, shoulder family's responsibility, shun away family responsibilities. Question number one. Do you think that women should be able to do the same sorts of jobs that men do? I think that people should have equal opportunities regardless of their gender. There are some things that maybe men are better at or women are better at. But ultimately, everyone should be given the chance to prove whether or not they can do something. And this should not be limited by gender, race, religions, or any other such factor. Question number two. Should more women be encouraged to work in male dominated fields, such as science and technology? Yes. I think it is important to let young girls know that they can pursue their interests and goals, then make sure that these pathways are opened to them. I am against any sort of mandatory quotas for hiring people, but companies should be blind to gender when choosing employees, because this is not a good way to predict whether or not someone will be competent or not. Question number three. Do you think women should be able to do all the same jobs that men do? There is no doubt that women are just as much capable as men in doing many jobs, and perhaps sometimes better in some jobs, which are not really that physically demanding and does not pose a threat to women. So I would say a female can do any job that a man can do. But I also believe that just because women are equally adept to do some jobs that men can do, they should not take up any job, especially if the job environment is not safe for them. Question number four. To what extent has the traditional role of women changed in the past 20 years? From my personal perspective, the most significant change is that the role of homemakers is no longer of solely women, and that a breadwinner belongs to men no more. In other words, even though prejudice and stereotypes about gender roles still exist, ladies are now free to explore and develop themselves at will. For instance, they can be a doctor, engineer, entrepreneurs, which used to be exclusively for men.